Welcome everyone to the Repicture STEM Career Accelerator Awards Ceremony and student final presentations, made possible by our sponsors, the California Faculty Association and Blue Shield of California. Welcome from the entire summer 2023 Repicture team. When Lynn and I founded Repicture back in 2015, we didn't know we were going to get to work with so many amazing people. And it turns out it takes a whole team to run a program like this. So Lynn and I and the whole team are really excited to welcome you all here today. So I promise we'll get to the presentations very soon, about 15-20 minutes after the hour. We'll start out with an intro to Repicture and this program for our guests. Then we'll have an awards ceremony for our students. And finally, we'll move into student final presentations. So a little intro to Repicture for our guests. Why are we all here today? What drives us and why we started Repicture back in 2015 is that right now, in this present moment, as it was in 2015, we have only a tiny slice of humanity building our future. Technology, engineering, math, science, technology, engineering, math fields are this outsized force shaping the world all around us. And yet these fields are still mostly homogeneous. In some of the fields, the needle really hasn't moved much in the last 30 years. So at Repicture, we want those designing our world to look more like those living in it, and for all of us to be working together, teaming our talents and different perspectives to solve the world's toughest challenges and to build our future. So in the meantime, we've got a bit of a projected talent gap in these fields. With the largest gap in technology and engineering, there's a huge amount of opportunity in STEM, and we want everyone to be able to connect with and thrive in these impactful and lucrative fields. So Repicture is a catalyst for you to reinvent yourself, to invent yourself and reinvent yourself, and create the world you want to see. We're a mission-driven public benefit organization, and we do this by connecting talent everywhere with the world of STEM. We serve all ages and career stages in our programs. All those driven to succeed, make a difference and stand out, and those courageous enough to venture out of what they already know. Our youngest participant in this program this summer is a freshman in high school, and our oldest is an engineering grad student and an intern this summer as well at one of our pilot companies. So both are going to be presenting today. How do we serve such a wide range of students? Well, we focus on those things that you always have to be doing for your career. Working on improving those critical soft skills, growing your professional network, and building your resume. And we use active learning and do assignments that can be tailored to your level. We're proud that our work has been nationally recognized. We've been invited speakers at UC Berkeley in their distinguished lecture series, had papers published at the American Society of Engineering Education, and received awards, including from the Women in Engineering Proactive Network for our innovative and groundbreaking work, joining past winners that include IBM and AT&T. So a bit about our program. We focus on 3 core pillars: professional skills, mentorship, and project portfolios. As you may have seen on our program calendar of events, which you can find on our website, we cover a range of professional skills. So these are those forever skills that you can always be practicing and getting better at, like how our students will be doing today by giving their presentations. One of the best parts of our summer program are the STEM professionals that come and mentor our students, and that includes all of you joining us today. We host panel discussions throughout the summer on various topics, and many of our students follow up with those professionals and stay connected. Students also interview professionals about projects that they've worked on, and we provide near-peer mentoring through our student peer mentors. So these opportunities to connect are especially important for those students who lack a built-in professional network in STEM, which is most people. And it's always a good feeling all around. Mentoring has proven benefits for mentors, and we all get satisfaction from helping others. And beyond that, our students get to tangibly grow their STEM networks over the summer. So finally, we do weekly assignments and practice all those skills we're learning, including researching and publishing articles about real-world STEM projects. So students get to dive in a little deeper and learn more actively about fields they're interested in by researching STEM projects. And one of the most common questions students have is, what can I do with my major? With Repicture, they get to see what they might actually do with their major, who they might work with, and who they might work for. And all of those projects are published on Repicture for the world to see. So at the end of the day, our students get to take something really great with them, as these projects become part of their unique online portfolio of work that says something about them, that expresses their interests and passions and all those critical soft skills that we work on over the summer, like writing and presenting. All of that shows up on your Repicture profile. So for students, it's a way to stand out and discover new opportunities. For STEM organizations, it's a way to find top talent and those people who genuinely are interested in the work that you do. For STEM educators, it's a way to help students connect what they're learning in the classroom with actual careers and the world of work. So, and this portfolio, of course, lasts well beyond the summer. So our past students have used their Repicture profiles to help land jobs, to gain admission to universities and prestigious STEM programs, and to network and connect with others with similar interests and within this STEM community. What we think is also really special is that as students are publishing their own projects, they're also helping us build this database of real-world STEM projects and a new way to explore careers and discover the people and organizations behind everything we can see in the world all around us. Our community is what makes our program successful these past few years, and we're proud to say that we've had over 400 profiles created on Repicture. We've worked with over 100 STEM mentors who have helped provide over 300 hours of mentorship and coaching to our students. And we've been able to work with students from so many different backgrounds and interests and from all over the country and the world. So I'll let our past students say the last word on Repicture, and then I'm going to show here a quick video of some of them now. Whoops.
You can learn about so many different careers, all in just one 6-week program.
Repicture gave me the confidence to challenge myself.
I learned the importance of finding a topic that you're really invested in and interested in.
I think Repicture is just a really great starting point.
They teach you about different things such as networking, getting in contact with STEM professionals. It's really just a great way to put yourself out there and make yourself more known and also get more accustomed to what your future will bring.
I took the opportunity to do the writing. When I did that and I submitted the project, and I was proud that project won. And when I applied for my master's to get the grant, they asked me for a writing sample. And I sent them the writing samples from Repicture. And the advisor was impressed with it. And I got the job and I got the grant and graduated. So I'm really grateful. So thank you guys.
Awesome. All right. So last, before we move on to awards, I want to take a moment to thank everyone that made our 2023 STEM Career Accelerator possible. So we would all not be here today if it weren't for our lead 2023 sponsors. This summer's program was made possible by the California Faculty Association and Blue Shield of California. Thank you so much for your support. All of the amazing connections and relationships that everyone has built this summer are because of you, and I hope you will continue to hear about the results of this program for a very long time. I also want to thank all of our 2023 partners and sponsors, the Cal State East Bay Mesa program, Citrus and Banatao Institute and their Workforce Innovation Program, HealthNet, Headwater Science Institute, and National Education Equity Lab. Our peer mentors, Lisa, Dulce, Joanne, and Maritza, they have been working hard all summer and have been the engine behind this program. Each of these amazing leaders have run this program. They've mentored our students, and they've developed their own Repicture profiles, and will also be presenting their projects today as well. So thank you so much to our peer mentors. And finally, I want to thank all of our 2023 speakers who volunteered their time to come and share their work and their career journeys and give their tips on how to be successful in STEM to our students. If you're interested in being a speaker for any of our future programs, let us know. Maritza will actually put a link in the chat here now for where you can sign up to be a Repicture mentor. And with that, With that, we're going to celebrate all the students who won awards this summer for their hard work. And I will go through these relatively quickly so we can move to the presentations. But yeah, the students have done incredible work this summer. And I just want to also highlight that, you know, these are those students that go above and beyond. You know, we're not a school, we're not, you know, we're not giving them credit. You know, they do get a certificate of you know, a certificate of completion when they complete the program, but they're doing this program really of their own, you know, volition and with their own ambition. So I would like to appreciate every student that won awards this summer. So we have Ari, who won an award for Best Written Profile. We have Ying for Most Inspirational Profile. We have Carolyn for Best Profile Video. Carolyn again for Best Reflection on a project that you worked on. We have Merlin for Best Reflection on an Interest project. We have Julian for Best Project you worked on. And then for week 3, we have Janet and Louie for Best Overall Project for their team project. And they also won for their, they won the Best Overall Project for their team project. Ari and Chelsea for Best Overall Project People's Choice. Yozel, Jima, and Alexa for Best Human Health Project. Ari and Chelsea for Best Project in another category. We have Chelsea for Best Project based on an interview with a STEM professional. We have Chelsea for People's Choice, Best Project based on an interview with a STEM professional. Ari for Best Individual Project. Julian for Best Individual Project People's Choice. Colin, Merlin, and John for Best Team Project, as well as Best Team Project for People's Choice. And for week 5, we have Merlin for Best Overall Project. Alexa for Highest Impact Project, Chelsea for Most Creative Project, and last but not least, Janet for Most Inspirational Project. Yay. Congratulations again to all the winners of this year's contest. So congratulations to all the students for winning awards and all of the students that put in their hard work this summer. So Maritza is going to put a link to the program in the chat, and we're going to move on to today's presentations, what we've all been waiting for. You should have gotten a program by email, but we're putting in the chat again here now in case you missed that. To give you some context to what the presentations you'll be seeing, the students have chosen their STEM projects. You can find a link to their profile and projects on the program. They had the option to present live today or submit a video. So some students submitted videos. We have contests for both. So we'll be announcing those on social. Please follow us there to find out who the winners are. Today's presentations will be judged on visuals, stage presence, and clarity of presentation, as well as time. There will be 3 to 4 presentations per breakout room. Each one will be 5 minutes. There will be 8 minutes for our team. And after that, we'll open up for a few minutes of feedback and question and answer from the audience. Please ask questions and give feedback. We have some really interesting topics and presentations today. I know you all will have questions for our presenters, and I hope you all will also enjoy learning something new today. But I also hope you have questions. Our students really love to get the questions. When we go into our breakout rooms, which we will hear in just a moment, your room moderator will put a link to your room's feedback form in the chat. And you can also find a link to that in the program. So again, questions are welcome, feedback is welcome. One last thing, we also encourage you to please turn your videos on if you can while the students are presenting so they can see who they're talking to and you can show them your support. So last but not least, before we go into the breakout rooms, I want to also welcome and thank all of our judges for coming and supporting our students today. We have Pete, Rodrigo, Priyanka, Mia, Marianne, Brian, Alejandro, Jody, Gary, Sarab, Matt, Katya, and Denise. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here and support our students today. And with that, Maritza has set up some breakout rooms. So we will all be going into breakout rooms in just a moment.
And for all of our guests and our audience, we have a feedback form for all of our presenters that I will link in chat. And you can go ahead and use that to judge our students. So that's the feedback form right there if you haven't gone yet. So to start, hi everyone, my name is Lisa and I will be the moderator for this room. I want to introduce and thank all of our judges. So to start, we have Jody, who's a former biologist, environmental scientist, and environmental. We have Gary, who's an environmental attorney and adjunct professor in legal studies. And finally, we have Rodrigo, who is a software engineer. The judges will be scoring each of the student presentations to determine the contest winners for best slide presentation. However, if anyone in the audience wants to also provide feedback, you can also use that form as well. So each person will be giving a 5-minute presentation. We'll then have a couple of minutes for Q&A as the judges complete their scoring. Please ask questions about their presentation, and you can also put them in chat, read them out loud as well, or go ahead and raise your hand and yourself. With that, so our first presenter is going to be Louis. Louis, you can go ahead and start screen sharing if you're ready, and I'll give you an introduction as you're putting everything together. Louis, yeah, okay. So Louis is a rising freshman at UC Davis. While Louis has not declared a career path yet, he aspires to find a career revolving around engineering or neuroscience. Louis has been a program participant at MESA for 5 years and has won various MESA cargo engineering awards by designing, building, and testing several glider models with his teammates. Louis believes imagination is the soul of creativity and thinking is the guiding light that leads us to brilliance. Yes, I can see your screen. Can everyone see Louis' screen? Great. And with that, Louis, take it away.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, all right. Well, hello, my name is Louis Gapasin, and today I'll be talking about how amazing are programming consultants. So, yeah, let's begin. Oh, here we are. So, what do programming consultants do? Well, they meet with their customers, assess their needs. Usually this need would be something that is a manual task that would be automated. So for example, if a customer wants a list of emails to be automatically emailed at a certain time or whatever, they would go to a programming consultant and ask, hey, can you design me a program that can automatically email everyone in this list? So that's kind of the work that programming consultants do. They design and create customized applications. So they're all about designing. They're using their knowledge and experience in code and saying, this coding concept will do this. And in combination with all these other coding concepts, we can have this big application that will fulfill the need of what this customer needs. And lastly, yeah, like I said, they use code to fulfill certain needs. It could be automating work, making work more easy or efficient, things of that sort. That is what they do. So how are they different from other careers in software engineering? Well, they are primarily focused with designing software. So programming consultants are focused with designing software, like I said earlier, using their knowledge to essentially build like a plan for what a program will be in the end. They can double as an independent programmer as well. So whatever plans that they make, they can double as an independent programmer and just go through and also code the entire thing, but they don't have to. They design specialized and customized products. So everything that they offer, everything that they give to their customers are very tailored and customized, special to that customer. What they make isn't meant to be repeatable or shareable. It targets a specific need of the customer that they're giving their work to. So yeah, it's very specific towards the problem or task that is being solved or made easier with their application. And they have a variety of work options. They can work freelance, they can double as an independent programmer, meet with their own clients. Their target is usually like a company or a startup in tech, people of that sort. But they can also do contracting, work with multiple companies at a time, take on multiple projects. So yeah, a very flexible job. And so how amazing are these programming consultants? So here are some pluses. Direct communication. So in this job, you are directly communicating with your customer. They're telling you what they need, what they want, and you take exactly what they say and you design exactly what they need. And so they're like, hey, what do you need? Oh, I need this. Cool, I designed this. Do you like it? Very direct communication. Work is very independent. Yeah, most of the work that you do is on your own, whether you're designing software or you're meeting with clients. It's very just work that is just you. So yeah, very independent work. If that is your thing, this might be your way. Varied options, like I said earlier, you have the freedom to choose if you want to go solo, no ties to a company, just look for contracts, look for customers that are in need of your work, or you can not do that and work with many companies at a time, do contracting, all that, all things of that sort. And lastly, a big plus, 108.5K per year. And let me just say, if you're making 6 figures per year, then you are living pretty comfortably. So my verdict, how amazing are these programming consultants? I say that they are pretty amazing. And that is all. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that. You're perfectly right on time. And would any of our judges or any of our audience members to start giving some feedback?
Well, I don't know whether we're just supposed to talk up, but Louis, thank you for that presentation. I haven't seen any other presentations, but I was quite impressed with your confidence in presenting the topic. I thought you were good on that. And I thought the little graphics that you had used and which were readable by people who might have some auditory problems, I noticed, which not everybody might catch. I thought that was very good. And I just want to say, basically, great job. I would have a couple of tips for you in terms of not so many, that's a little filler. And if you can go through your presentation before you do it and eliminate those little fillers, it'd be even better. Anyway, thanks for doing a great presentation. And it's too late for me to get a job like that, but I agree with you. It sounds like it would be amazing.
Thank you so much.
I do want to ask one thing. I'm a did some programming myself, and like I do want to ask like what type of like do they have specialize in one language, or do they like have a variety of languages they use?
So with jobs like these, or from my interview that I did with Miss Kerr, which was my previous teacher, amazing person. But from my interview, she said that they use a variety of languages, C++, SQL, yeah, just whatever coding language is needed, they will use. So my answer to that question would be a wide variety of languages.
Oh, I see. And like with as you mentioned, the common ones would probably be like SQL and C++.
Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna jump right in here if that's okay. Do we have enough time still?
Yeah, we have a few minutes, 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So Louis, could you help me out because I missed the very beginning of Lisa's introduction. You're in what year of school?
Louis is a rising freshman at UC Davis.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question on a little bit of a different, take a little bit of a different strategy here. I agree with Gary. I did enjoy your presentation. I thought it was very clear. I thought you presented very well, very confidently. So kudos on all of that. So the question that I have is there are a lot of people, especially studies show this is true for women, who need to feel that their work is serving a higher, let's call it a social purpose, that the work has to be gratifying. They have to know that they're making a difference in their community or the world So to appeal to people, I mean, if you were, let's say, recruiting for, a curriculum in this type of work, I mean, what would you say to those people about, that you're, how could you connect those parts for them?
Well, I'd say that if you really love your job and you do it with all your heart, I feel like that is enough purpose, I guess. I mean, would you want a cake made by someone who really hates making cakes, or someone who's been making cakes their entire life and puts every ounce of love into making that cake? So for me, I don't really know much code, but from whatever I know, I'd had a lot of fun with it. And so I'd say if you love what you're doing and you're putting the max effort that you can, and you just show that you're putting your max effort in, I feel like that's enough purpose to show, for me personally, that you're making an impact.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of just food for thought, if you were to, kind of go back, revise this and give it this presentation again to a different audience, I would like to see some examples. I know that you're pressed for time, but some examples of the kinds of projects that people in this field might work on, working for all different kinds of clients. I know you gave the example of somebody wants to, I think you started off with, entering data in a database, it was emailing. So it would be interesting to me, not doing this kind of work, to know, could you give just briefly, I'll show a list, 5 or more so examples of the kind of project somebody in this role might take on. Very nice job. Very impressive work.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
May I ask just a very quick question for Louis? So Louis, you're going to figure out what you're doing as you go to UC Davis. Is this interesting to you? Because I know you're a guy who likes to work on teams and collaborate. This sounds independent. So is this maybe a major you're thinking of pursuing as you become an Aggie? What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of different interests at this moment, and right now I'm really not sure. But I saw those six figures and I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? But yeah, coding, again, I don't know much, but to me it seems really fun. Just figuring out how things work and mixing and batching different coding concepts is just really fun to me. So um as of right now, yeah, it's pretty hot on my list.
All right, I'm gonna have to stop the commentary there. Feel free to put in chat if you have any more remaining questions for Louis, but thank you so much, Louis. You did a wonderful job. So our next presenter is going to be Vivian. So Vivian, you can go ahead and start sharing screen as I introduce you.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so Vivian is currently a rising junior in high school who's interested in a career in biotechnology and is driven by her passion to help solve global issues such as world hunger. Vivian's hobbies include gardening and learning about STEM-related topics. Vivian's favorite quote is, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do," by Steve Jobs. And with that, are you ready? You can take it away. You're muted.
Thank you about that. After that. Yeah. So, olives. People eat olives whole, stuff them, and press them to release oil. But when olives are pressed for oil, what happens to the leftovers? They get thrown into large waste piles that begin to smell bad and take up space. But what if there was a use for this stinky byproduct? There may be, and multiple at that. Here, I will show you the problems fixed by and the benefits of using olive waste. My name is Vivian Egan, and my presentation is olive waste. Or is it? Let us start with a problem fixed by using these leftovers. This might come as a surprise, but the waste produced by olive oil factories does not naturally decompose, leading to piles and piles of stinking waste just lying around. Fortunately, scientists have found a way to use the waste. Using olive waste provides benefits in land, agriculture, and in health. Use 1. Clears up land. Using olive waste helps rid the land of large smelly waste piles, and this in turn frees up land so that it can be used more productively for things like farming. Use 2. Fungicide. In olive waste, there are certain polyphenols in it that are mold resistant. Polyphenols are helpful compounds that are mostly found in consumable plants. Scientists believe that with this natural mold resistance, they could turn olive waste into a natural fungicide for farmers to use. These scientists tested this idea by adding different concentrations of olive compounds to 3 different crop-destroying fungi. Fusarium culmorum, or wheat blight, which attacks wheat, Botrytis cinerea, a gray mold that ruins strawberries, grapes, blueberries, and raspberries beyond consumer standards, and the infamous blight that caused the Irish potato famine, Phytophthora infestans, also known as potato blight. They found that with a high concentration of olive compounds, the fungi's growth was stopped. Scientists predict that a way that the olive compounds could be used for fungicide could be as the basis for sprays and dusts. Scientist Gunther Laufenberg and his team found that the compound which prevented fungi growth was made up of the polyphenol oleuropein, and its 2 breakdown products, hydroxytyrosol and linoleic acid. Use 3. Soil amendment. Scientists believe that once the fungi-preventing polyphenols in the olive waste are removed, the leftovers of that can be used as a soil amendment. Soil amendments, also known as soil conditioners, are products added to the soil to improve its physical and chemical properties. Using not only the compounds with fungicidal properties in the olive waste, but also the leftover waste from that as a soil amendment, will ensure that there are no longer heaps of smelly waste just lying around and taking space. Use 4. Health benefits. The polyphenols found in olive waste are also found in food and drink products that people use to reduce their risk of heart disease. Brain function is also improved by these compounds. This being discovered in a test with geriatric animals. Geriatric is used to describe animals who are nearing the end of their life and experiencing symptoms of old age. Consumers could consume these polyphenols through the fungicide which is sprayed onto the crops they eat, or through a separate product made from the olives. Olives are useful for many things, mainly oil and eating, and now you know the many more uses for this amazing plant. Here are my sources, and thank you for watching.
All right, thank you for that, Vivian. I'm going to open the floor for any of our questions.
So I have a question. First of all, it's very interesting. I was just talking to somebody a couple of days ago who brought me as a housewarming present a bottle of olive oil. And he said, did you know that most olive oil that's sold is actually artificially dyed, so that when they say like extra virgin, extra virgin, it keeps getting the color darker, that a lot of that could be due to dyes that they add. That was kind of disheartening. But did you find there was a relationship between the benefits that you mentioned and the benefits of eating olives?
I bet, yeah, the benefits about the polyphenols or the compounds in the olive oil that were said to reduce the risk of heart. So I believe that the polyphenols found in the olive waste could also be found in like whole olives. So consuming those olives could possibly give you the benefits of the polyphenols that are in the olives, which would be the reduction of heart disease and the brain benefits or mental.
All right, right. Okay, it's very interesting. Thank you. Very interesting work.
Thank you. Thanks.
I thought it was a very interesting presentation too, Vivian. The question that came to my mind is, what is this all going to cost? And who's going to pay the cost? How is that going to work out sort of in the economics of the agricultural production and sales system?
Yeah, I see. So this is just an idea, but I believe that like since the farmers would be sort of benefiting from the olive waste being, well, one, removed from their land, but also incorporated maybe into their soil, they could pay like sort of like a fee or a tax for it to be like turned into a certain product, and then I guess it could be started off by the farmers, and then the price or the wage, the money generated from selling the herbicide products and the conditioner products could help fund the work. And then I think the original research was done by a college, so that was where the funding came from.
Great.
You know, back to the waste question, which is intriguing me. You know, when you think about it, so much of an olive's waste is the pit. You know,
yeah.
and I wonder, what did you find anything that referenced using the pits or?
No, I think that not that I recall. No,
I mean,
but
I wonder if they could even use it for a product, like incorporating it into asphalt for roadways or something, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Just to get rid of it, you know, or use it for you know, like not a de-icer, but for a road treatment in climates where there's a lot of ice and snow on the roadway, you know, instead of putting down sand, for example. If of course, you know, an olive pit is so hard, I don't know how you would effectively crush it, but it seems like something that's generating so much waste, it seems like somebody should be working on that, huh?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That should be part of a project or something. Thank you.
Yeah, additionally, Vivian, I was just gonna say, really great job presenting. I can tell you really have great knowledge of the subject and very interesting subject as well. I never really thought about specifically with olives, the byproduct of, after using them for olive oil or for any other purposes, the leftover byproduct really brought attention to me as to like the different things that are left over after we initially use them, past our initial use. So really great topic, really interesting, very great mastery of knowledge there. And that would be it for me. Really great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I do have like a quick question for Vivian. After researching about olives, has it informed anything about like your future career path?
Oh, well, I actually found the olive, the study because of like my interests. So I really like, well, one, finding like new useful ways for like natural already, like things around us already, like, oh wow, this can actually do this as well, sort of. And I found it, I don't know, it's just sort of fueled my interest in plant technologies and uses for, well, like health and agriculture.
All right, thank you so much. I'm gonna end the Q&A there for Vivian, but if you have any remaining questions for her, feel free to ask in chat. So we have a presenter, her name is Maria, but she could not make it due to some personal issues. So I will be presenting next. Well, I guess I'll introduce myself. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Lisa. I recently graduated from UC Berkeley, where I obtained a Bachelor's of Arts in Sustainable Environmental Design with a triple minor in Landscape Architecture, City Planning, and Geoinformation Systems. I'm driven by my passion for improving sustainability through the intersection of the built and the natural environment. And I've been currently a Repicture mentor for this year. Okay, start sharing my screen. Okay, can everybody see the presentation? Okay, let me just adjust a little bit. Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm going to be presenting my capstone project for my degree. So, the increasing PM2.5 amidst increasing wildfire hazards in Richmond, California. Here's the table of contents. And to start, I'm going to go into a little bit about the background. So, Richmond, California is a very unique study site as it is the only location in the country that's exposed to both direct oil refinery pollution and heavy wildfire smoke. With increasingly catastrophic fires in California due to climate change, air quality has been a growing topic of concern. But it has yet to be seen what the combined effects of the wildfire smoke and the already present air pollution in cities are. Not to mention the ethnic and economic makeup of the city also creates a strong backdrop for environmental justice as citizens fight for their right to clean air. And speaking of the oil refinery, in 2021 alone, the Chevron in Richmond has emitted over 4.3 million metric tons of carbon dioxide into the surrounding environment, making it the second highest emitter in the state of California and the largest in the city. So that brings us to our problem statement. How might the combined effects of wildfire pollution and ambient air quality impact public health risks in Richmond, California? And so to address this problem, we took this in two different approaches. The first is a qualitative analysis. And in that qualitative analysis, we conducted case studies to try to understand the historical context of Richmond, California. So the second approach is quantitative, where we also took it in a twofold. So the first analysis was done using historical PM2.5 wildfire data to build a statistical model that will predict the future increase of emissions. And so PM 2.5 refers to particulate matter 2.5, which are tiny particles or droplets in the air that are less than 2.5 microns in width. And this is sort of the fundamental statistic that we're using for this project. The second analysis is done using geospatial data. So data put onto a spatial scale to sort of understand and highlight where people are most affected by this combination of refinery pollution and its wildfire emissions. So looking at the results, to start, our statistical models. So we use the linear regression formula, y equals ax plus b. It's a pretty common formula everywhere. And so we essentially plugged in a bunch of historical wildfire data and generated this R squared, which helps predict the increase of average extreme PM 2.5 by year. And likewise, so this R squared gets plugged into the A over here, and then it generates this line. Likewise, this next one is the same thing, but by month. And so onto the maps. So through our geospatial analysis, I built out a context map. In the middle, you can see, so this gray outline, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but there's this gray outline that highlights the boundary of the city of Richmond. Over on its right, the red, yellow, orange is the different fire hazard severity zones, and on the left, so that purple object right there is location of the Chevron refinery. So the city of Richmond is bounded by two different air pollution risks. And we wanted to consider demographics when we're looking at this issue. And in this map, I've highlighted the presence of ethnic minorities in the city of Richmond. And you can see that around 80 to 99% of the people living there are ethnic minorities. As well as on the second map, this highlights median household income in the past 12 months for 2020. And the majority of its residents make under 70K a year in total median household income. Now, combining all the factors mentioned previously, such as proximity to the different air pollution sources, as well as demographics, this map displays an analysis of the air pollution risk. And that red circle in the middle right there is where we believe that the most people are going to be affected by this combined air pollutants. So the conclusion for our project was pretty simple, mostly just that air pollution is only going to get worse due to wildfires from climate change, as well as the Chevron refinery not closing down anytime soon. Not to mention that the risk in air pollution will be disproportionately affecting low-income and minority households most, because they are forced to live in those areas because of cheaper rent, cheaper housing as well. So that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Let me ask a question, Lisa. I may have just flipped those maps as you went through the presentation, because your conclusion was that the lower income people were going to be in the areas most affected. And it looked to me, and I thought it was weird, that the upper income people were more directly in those areas. Did I just misunderstand the chart?
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. So I made these maps using US Census data, and those areas that are, I guess, most affected don't actually have any residents living in them. They are industrial space. And so the reason that they have high income is because of that income generated by the industry.
Okay, well, that would have been helpful to make that clearer, because I was looking at this, and I know Richmond because I drive by it all the time and so forth, but I thought, gee, this is really weird. I mean, why do all these rich people decide to live right where there are wildfire smoke and refinery wastes? So anyway, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, I thought it was awkward too.
You know, this topic of people who are lower income, disadvantaged, as minorities is so such a difficult nut to crack. And, you know, you think of the air and you think, of course, you know, people who are wealthy don't want to live near factories, refineries, you know, in the media. But you think of air and you just think, you know, when's it going to end? I mean, are there any advantages that you can think of that a person who is, you know, low income, minority status, you know, we hear study after study, you know, medical and social, and where, you know, are there any benefits of being disadvantaged?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, you already said it yourself that they're disadvantaged, so it's kind of difficult to say that there are going to be a lot of benefits, but hopefully in the future there will be policies, maybe rules, regulations put in place to help, you know, lessen the gap for them.
Wow, I hope
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, that's such an interesting question.
Yeah, I used to be an eternal optimist, but not seeing it so much with putting policies in place that are reversing these disadvantages.
What I will say is that, you know, their disadvantages do highlight a lot of issues within the system. And so I guess the benefit to that would be like being able to understand all the problems that exist and forcing people to like tackle those problems.
Right.
So
So if you could think of one thing that you would do to start reducing this gap of suffering related to your overall disadvantaged status, I mean, what would you do?
Like asking me to solve like a little piece or something.
No, just one thing. What's one thing that you would, or maybe anybody who's participating this afternoon could comment. I mean, what's one thing, one thing that would be at the top of the list of, you know, reversing these kinds of disadvantages? Because we have to be thinking about it, right? Can't just keep.
Well, one thing that does come to my mind is education, building a strong education at the very beginning so that future generations can also be just as properly equipped as everyone else. That's one idea I have. I'm sure there are plenty of others.
Right. We've certainly always said that where environmental issues are concerned, that education is the key. It's just not taken us far enough, you know. It's yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed your presentation. Thank you. It's good work.
Thank you. Any other questions or remaining remarks?
I was just gonna say, Lisa, great presentation. I really liked your visuals and your data. It was really great to see that in there. Specifically, not knowing a lot about the topic, seeing especially your illustrations with ArcGIS Pro. I've dabbled with it myself a little bit, so I kind of know the struggle of learning it at first. But really great to see that there, and just really great use of visuals, data, and really great presentation structure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, ArcGIS Pro is not, I wouldn't say it's difficult to learn, but there's like a huge learning curve yet to get past. Yeah, with that, we do have 3 minutes left, and I'd like to end with some more closing remarks. First and foremost, I'd like to congratulate all of our students in this breakout room and not in this breakout room for completing our Repicture Summer Career Accelerator program. Thank you for all of your hard work presenting live here or submitting your video presentations to us. I'd also like to extend a really big thank you to all of our judges, so Gary, Rodrigo, and Jody, for coming and judging all of our presenters here. Thank you to all of our guests or visitors who came to support. We wouldn't be here without you all. And so this concludes our afternoon program. I'm going to be staying behind for any last questions you have. And with that, thank you all so much. You're free to go, hang out, do whatever you'd like.